I'll say it again a little slower. The links are in the description below the video. Good morning, you wonderful people. Hope you're all having a great day. It is lovely here again. It is a bit colder, but not bad. I'd say maybe -2 today. I look like I'm bundled up, and that's just because my neck is still bugging me, and I'm trying to do whatever I can to make it better. I am getting massage once a week. I skipped twice because we were a trip to Moscow, but the massage is definitely helping. If you're not aware, I have herniated discs. I believe there's 6 of them. And 2 of which really bother me. 1 in my neck and 1 in my lower back, which radiates down into my hips. So those ones bother me the most, and massage has definitely helped, especially on the ones in the hip. But my neck, it has been bothering me for over 3 years. I've been here for years. So yeah, it's probably going on 4 years. I have been trying to get help for that. And many of you offer great advice. It's not like we're new to this. We have tried a lot of things. I have had physiotherapy, I've had chiropractor, I've had massage, I've done various different types of stretches and all things to try to help, but it's not going away. It is sometimes worse, sometimes better, and we can't seem to narrow it down. So I'm hoping here with the excellent Russian healthcare we have available that I will be able to get more answers basically, and hopefully finally narrow down what exactly is going on and what we can do to solve it. So anyway, that's the long story of why I'm wearing this, hoping to keep it a bit warmer, because I noticed the other day there was a little bit of wind blowing in here and it was starting to hurt. So today I'm going to be working on the tractor. The boys are still working on the shop, and that's actually another thing. A lot of people commented how I wasn't carrying the children in Moscow. Well, that is the main reason why, is because I have so many troubles with my back. I do often lift more than I should and work more than I should because the work still needs to get done. We can't just sit down, but as much as possible I'm trying to. Very thankful for the extra help that I have. These guys helping me. So Wes is the main boss on the crew here, and we've got 3 Canadians helping him out, and they're putting these trusses up. So that's the 10th one, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so they put 1 more up this morning. That's 1/3 of the way done for that side. They've got strapping on. It's coming together real nice. So amazing to have that help, but also to have Wes. He's now 15 years old, but he's been trained in construction all of his life, and just the expertise to, well, anything, doesn't matter what it is, what you trained your children in, to watch your children take the information you've given them and then run with it and go with it. And that's beautiful. It's awesome. That's one reason I just love this job as a parent. It's great. So he's handling that, obviously my oversight and my instructions, but if I get too close to it, I'll be up there putting them on. And I did that yesterday too, and then I felt it right away because I had to help show them show them a better way of lifting the trusses. Basically, there was some challenges as to getting them up, and I don't believe in no. There's always a way. You just have to do it differently. So I showed them a different way of putting them up. It worked better, and now they're having better success. But for now, I'm going to stick with this tractor. So this is our, I'll zoom out a bit, Shibaura, probably not saying that right either, SD1800. Great little machine. Very happy with it. It's only an 18 horse tractor, but it's got a lot more power. It feels like a lot more power than what an 18 horse you would think would have. Trouble we're having, I've got a bunch of junk on here, I'll clean this up, but there's a hydraulic pump in here which is gear driven off the engine, or shaft drive. I'm not exactly sure how it's hooked up. I guess it'd be a shaft probably from the engine. Hydraulic driven. These are my 2 lines. There's a filter in it which we were finding filings in right from day one, and since day one it just doesn't, it lifts good on cold, when it's cold when you first start it up, but after using the tractor for a while, it no longer wants to lift, and we have to shut the tractor off. And it's been like that since day one. And so looking in there, it's got a filter. We've seen some metal filings, and at first I thought it was probably the pump, but I'm wondering if it's this. So I'm not explaining myself very well, but the oil comes from back here. It goes through one of these tubes to the pump. It then gets pressurized and comes back. And it comes back here in this tube, inside this mechanism. Okay, and then you can use it. This guy here is like a draft control. You can either shut the flow off completely or you can minimalize it, which would then slow down how fast the oil goes through. And the only other control is this one. This is up and this is down. And what that does is control in here. There would be a cylinder inside. Normally, I don't know about this one, but I'm assuming it's the same. And it controls these arms, which then lifts your 3-point linkage. And it's called a 3-point because you got 1, 2, and then this one. And basically every tractor has this. The top link is stationary, and the bottom two, these can go up and down. And therefore you can lift a plow or lift a cultivator or whatever you want to put on the back of this thing. And that's what it comes down to. So what I want to do is open this up now because something in here is not functioning properly, and try to figure out what's doing, because I don't want to lift it all anymore. Freed just came in here. He's telling me on his way in to our place this morning he's seen a dump truck. I've only ever seen this on video, but a dump truck didn't have his box down all the way. He had it up and nailed a sign just up the highway here. A sign going across the highway. Anyway, not good. I've only, like I said, I've never actually seen it in real life. I've seen videos of guys hitting, you know, accidentally forgetting to. I don't know how you forget to put your box down, but I guess if you're in a hurry and not thinking clearly. Okay, back to this. I've never done this, so I just wanted to tell you that you should never be scared to try stuff. The main thing is to document what you're doing. So I take pictures of everything before I start, and then you slowly peel back layers. If you open something that looks like it's going to be extremely complicated to put back together, then maybe leave it alone. But until then, it's just a bunch of bolts. It's not real complicated. You're just going to start peeling stuff off and then documenting where everything went so that you know where to put it back, basically. My suspicion is it's in here. Because this is a shut-off valve, my suspicion is something's goofy in here and it's letting the oil flow by, and that therefore I have no oil pressure when I'm doing this. That's my guess, but I don't know that for sure. Now I know it feels like an oil bypass because when it gets hot, it wasn't working. When it was cold, the oil is thicker. When it gets warm, the oil gets thinner. And so sometimes if you have a small hole with thick oil, it'll still work. Okay, but then as the oil heats up, it gets thinner and it'll shoot out this hole rather than going where it's supposed to go, and then you don't have the pressure you need. Now it doesn't work at all. So with that assumption in mind, that hole maybe got bigger. Of course, at this stage of the game, it's just guessing. I don't actually know what's wrong yet, but you have to start with a guess, hopefully an educated guess, and then start peeling it apart and seeing what you find. So that's what we're going to do first. First thing I'm going to do is pull this apart and take a gentle look inside there. After that, I'm going to try to get in this side. Now here's a control as well, but because this handle is actually what controls it up and down, and you can see it goes in right here. So if I can peel that off would be the next stage. To try to have a look inside here, there's obviously a cylinder somewhere, and to try to get access to that. Maybe the cylinder itself is leaking. That's possible as well, but it's all internal, so we're just gonna get started. Another good idea is to have a boxer bucket or something. I used to have a metal tray, magnetic tray, that I could set beside. The bottom of it was magneted, so you could stick it to anything, and then you could put your bolts in it. In this case, I'm using this here cardboard box that I got laying around, just so you don't lose nothing. It can easily fall down somewhere and you don't know where it is. On this particular tractor, if you're doing it, that bolt has to come out as well. You can make that out in the bottom one here. There you go. That one has to come out in order to get the big bolt, because it's in the way. The rest are pretty easy. I got one more to take loose, and then we'll peel it apart. Alright, to be perfectly honest, I was not expecting this. I don't even know what I'm looking at yet. This is what I pulled out. So when I turn it, I wish I could turn a light on there for you. You can see inside. When I turn the handle on the other side, nothing happens. I'm assuming something's supposed to happen. I don't actually know. It's got a rubber seal here, but I was not expecting this. That's what's inside. Okay, we've got this shaft here sticking out. So I'm gonna peek in there and have some further exploration. I don't actually know what we're looking at here, but we'll find out shortly. Possibly, well, I know it's an oil shutoff of some kind, so maybe when I turn this guy, I would think this should move, and since I didn't see it moving, maybe that's my problem. Maybe it's broken here. That would be handy, but I don't know yet. We'll find out. No need to leave a bunch of comments on the bottom of what you think it is. We're gonna just keep watching and we'll we'll be right there. Told you I'd be back. All right, I figured it out. I didn't figure out the problem. No, I just figured out what it's for. Hang on. This hole right here is connected to this. So when we go up, back up a minute. When we go up or down, the oil comes through this hole here. Only one hole so far that I can identify, and the rest are all bolt holes. That hole lines up with that guy right there. Okay, which makes sense. And that oil then runs through here. Well, it stops because there's nothing else going on, and it goes in here. And this is literally my cylinder, which is very interesting. And therefore, this would be a shutoff for this oil to go through. So I have yet to find anything wrong with it. There's definitely nothing visibly wrong with it. We're going to pull this open, make sure it's actually working and functioning. And obviously I was wrong. This has nothing, it doesn't push this. It just either shuts off the oil or allows it to go through. And so we're now going to take that apart. If that's okay, then we got to work our way backwards and make sure this valve is working properly. If that's okay, then we're going to go back and again, we're going to end up at the pump eventually. But one thing at a time. Okay, very interesting. Lighting here is not the greatest, I'm sorry. It's the best shop I got right now. So it definitely is a cylinder. This comes out. If I loosen this, so it is working, everything's functioning properly. If I loosen that, I can pull this right out of here. And therefore I was hoping, where is it there? Hoping that maybe it was this seal that's allowing blow by. That would be the easiest fix. And you can see this goes right in, no problem. And it slips all the way in. If I lock this guy up, the other way, now no oil can get in, yes? And now I can push on this. That's as far as I can push. It does not want to go in any farther. So I would say that seal is definitely not broken. It's holding pressure, which is good, which means it'll also hold pressure the other way. Nothing wrong with this part. We now need to get in deeper into the back of the tractor. Pulled off this back part, it's this piece here, and there's really nothing to it. Basically, it just looks like it's connecting. Okay, so I have yet to figure out exactly which one goes where, but keep in mind the oil's coming in here. Those of you who don't care for mechanics, I'm sorry, this video will be very boring. It's coming in here, it's going into this block somehow, and you can kind of see a bridging between that and this block that I'm working on. This here, you can see just underneath the black portion there's a bridge. If I get you a better angle. So my assumption would be the oil is coming from here to there into here. I put air on this hole, it goes nowhere, no matter what I do. I'm moving the handles and stuff, it doesn't move. Same as this hole. And this one blows directly inside. So it's just a guess that one of these holes is pressure, and one of it allows the pressure to escape, and that this hole would feed my cylinder. But I don't know that for sure. We're going to open it up some more and have a look. You see here now, nothing super scary, just a bunch of bolts. It's really hard to look in there because it's so cold. It's all fogged up in my light. There's the hot and the cold's meeting here, but we'll try to get a better look in there later. Hopefully it'll warm up. But essentially I got what I need. That there is this same rod coming out the front that we looked at earlier. Okay, so that pushes up and down, and that's what lifts or lowers the 3-point linkage. You can see there on the side it's connected to this arm, and that's your 3-point. So that's it. That's all there is to it. So this line that I've got loose here, this one, is the oil coming in. If you're not familiar with that, those are really cool bolts. This bolt holds it on, but also you can see that's how the oil can get from it and through into here. Okay, so we're going to clean this all up now. This is the next place for us to look and see what exactly is wrong. See here, Tokyo, Japan. We'll open this guy up, or not open it up, just have a look. I'm going to blow air through. First I'm going to clean off anything that needs to be cleaned off, and then we'll blow air through where we think the oil should go and see what happens. It should come out in the next place. Yeah, kind of chase down the problem. And also add to that and confirm my earlier suspicions. So these two are Now let's change that. This is where the oil goes in, coming from the pump, and this is a blow-by. So if you're not using, so the oil is going to come through one of these holes. I'm going to check that next. From here, it's going to come out of one of these holes. If you're not using it, it's going to end up building up pressure, which isn't good. So it'll dump it in here. Yeah, and then that, I checked earlier, and it was blowing, and that's because right there, if you can see that, a little bit of a hole in there, right there. So it's just a clear hole in, and that'll dump the oil back in. You don't want to build up pressure, you'll burn up your pump. So the oil is going to come through here. If it doesn't get used for this, it's just going to dump it back inside the pit, and that pit's full of oil. You fill the oil up through here, there's a little thing, and it'll dump back in here, and then it'll suck back through the big hose, which is right here, and suck back through to the pump and get pumped up again. But in the case that you use the valve and you do use it, then it will be redirected to the cylinder. Now, the fact that I couldn't get any air to blow through either one of those might mean there's a problem here. It could also mean that it runs at a higher PSI than my little air compressor here can put out. If you don't have one of these are really great. I don't know how readily available they are here. This actually I brought with from Canada. A little DeWalt air compressor pump, runs on a regular battery. This is not a paid for advertisement, but I've been super thrilled with this. The first time I actually seen one of these was an Amishman had one. I know that sounds weird, right? Amishman with an air compressor, but they run a lot of, depending on which Amish group, this particular group runs a lot of battery-powered stuff. They're actually allowed these lanterns as well. Lanterns like this in their house. And that's a lot safer than a coal-fired lantern that some of the other Amish groups use. So that's where I first seen this, and I was like, that's perfect. You can take it with. It's the same batteries I already use. The one side you have a big, like, for air mattress filling, and the other one is for filling up tires. And inside this little door, if I open it up, it has a cigarette lighter plug, so you can also run it off your car. Right there. So, perfect little thing. If you want to get somebody a nice gift, something like this is great. And it's got a little light on the top too, if you're stuck on the side of the road. You can actually set it for a certain PSI on the dial, and then just walk away, and it'll shut off when the tire gets that full. So, great little thing. I will use it now and try through here again, see what I could find out. Maybe my problem's in this mechanism. Could be. After that, the only thing left is the pump. Again, a little farther, still not 100% confirmed. This guy though, that's oil in. It most certainly comes through here, so I was right on that. And this is my oil dump that goes back in, so that means this guy is the only one left, and it should be going in through this body. Okay, and then by running this lever, it should be coming out here. And it's not. I can't get anything to come out. So something's not right inside this thing. That's my next guess. Slowly but surely we're figuring it out. Now I could be wrong, but I'm learning at the same time. So if I pull it apart now, I know what's inside one of those. That's another reason why you shouldn't be afraid to try it within reason. Okay, don't get into something you can't get fixed again. But so far it's a bunch of bolts. It's not rocket science, and we can easily get it back together. Oftentimes repairs can cost you a lot, and it's something quite often that you can do yourself, especially in today's day and age with the internet. Everything's available. You can find manuals for everything online. If they're in different languages, you have the option of hitting Google Translate, and it'll change the whole document into English or whatever language you're listening in right now. So don't be afraid. And there's also YouTube videos quite often. This is a less common brand, okay? But if you're running some of the big ones, especially in the West, like Case, John Deere, New Holland, stuff like that, there's so many videos of people who've done repairs on them, and it's very easy to find. So yeah, don't be afraid. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to pull that apart, and hopefully we find something. That's always a problem. If you have a problem and you get into it and you can't find a reason for the problem, that's never fun. I'd rather find a broken spring or a broken, I don't know, O-ring, or if I'd rather find something and then you say, aha, this is the problem, now I know what to fix. It does happen sometimes where you open it up and you can't find anything wrong. And then, well, yeah, that's a bit of a pain. Okay, here's a diagram of the piece. And then it shows all the guts inside of it. So I have literally pulled apart every single piece. Not this part yet, not this bottom block. I'm going to do that now. But this top portion, I pulled everything out and clean it up. Now there was two little tiny chunks of hard material that may have been blocking something from moving, and there was also a bunch of sludge wrapped around this guy here. So I don't know. Other than that, I cannot find anything. It's nice and shiny now. I'm not going to pull apart this bottom piece. This is that piece, all cleaned up, put back together. beautiful. I didn't film any of it. I could have, I guess, but whatever. And I'm now going to do this one. You can see how dirty it is. We'll get it all cleaned up. Then I'm going to clean this all up, and we'll put everything back together. Like I said earlier, it's so nice when you can actually find something. Oh, there's a bunch of grease on there. I'm still just as ugly, sorry. It's nice when you find something actually wrong, because then you know what to fix. So far I've found a couple of little pieces of garbage, that's about it. And that might be enough. Sometimes that's enough, because there's no tolerances. It's like machined 100% tight, and that way you get a good hydraulic fit. And if you have a little tiny chunk in there, it doesn't allow something to move, that can be literally all it is. But it is always nice if you can find a busted O-ring or a busted spring or something a little bit more clear. Much better. This is all cleaned up now, inside and out. Excuse me. Just eating a snack. I'm at the kitchen table. Okay, so these are the parts inside of it. Amazingly nice little pieces. The one that I really wanted to show you is in there. Look how fine detailed that is. If I can get it to zoom. Of course I can't get it to zoom. There you go. It's a little better. This is the kind of stuff I really think is cool, because this is all machined parts. Somebody made this, right? And yeah, they used a machine. That's fine. Who designed and developed and decided that all of this works this way, I think is really fascinating. So I've cleaned all these up. Everything is, yeah, doesn't look like there's anything wrong. I thought maybe this O-ring was stretched, but it seems like it's okay as well. So we'll put this one back together. Next I'm going to clean this part up and then put it all back together. If you remember, it bolts on here, and so the oil will come in from the outside here, go through the valve body, which is this, then it'll end up going out here. And then from here, it was hooked up out this hole to the cylinder. It comes across to that other piece that comes in. So we'll get it all cleaned up, make sure this tube's clean. I can see there's a bunch of junk and stuff on here, so we'll tidy it all up. Okay, I washed everything up. Everything is spotless, and I did not find anything other than I do need a haircut. I figured that out. We're putting her all back together now. This guy looked good. I mean, I just cleaned it up. Basically, it was dirty, but there was nothing in there. Like I said, there was a couple of little chunks of garbage in here that might be enough, or we're barking up the wrong tree. Maybe this isn't our problem anyway, but we're going to put her all back together now, and then I'll show you what it looks like together. The next stage is going to be going back to the tractor, and I will follow it down now. I mean, the next thing in line, as far as I know, is the hydraulic pump itself. Back in the container, all put back together. Again, cleaned up and nice. We've got everything hooked up. It's looking nice. We're going to install it back on in here again. That piece went in here, and then we'll put the cylinder on the other side. We'll get everything all fixed up here. And then the pump will be the next thing that we tackle. Always good news when you get it back together and you have no spare bolts. It's all on again, everything's functioning, and my box is empty. They're out playing. Finny, hey, get your hat back on, buddy, it's too cold.
I want to show you my hair.
Is it all sweaty?
No, I just want to show that I have a haircut.
Oh, you want to show everybody your haircut?
Yeah.
Okay, next you're going to show everybody how you're sick. Hey, get your hat back on so you don't get sick, okay? Just wants to show you his nice hair. You got a nice haircut. Eli's cleaning up the yard here. It's just starting to snow a little bit. The boys got a lot farther here in the trusses as well. Every now and again I keep an eye on them, but they're doing well. Got a little over half of them done now. So great progress. And soon have them all on.
And I need a thing to screw it in.
Screw that screw in?
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably find something on the workbench. Maybe?
I can just sit it in the snow.
You gonna do what in the snow?
Sit in there.
You're gonna sit in the snow?
Yeah. And then put these screws in.
Probably could. You could work in here too. It's a little bit better in here than out there, maybe.
I can just put the board right here. And I can just sit on.
Oh yeah, that sounds comfy. Yep. You gotta put your hat on proper though. I'm a little worried you're gonna get sick. And all the babushkas that are watching, they're gonna be upset with me for not keeping you warm, right?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, this is the pump right in here. Anybody that's familiar with these kind of pumps, you can tell that's what the pump looks like. And so we have our supply line. I move my flashlight here. This is the supply where it sucks in. This is a pressure line where it leaves. I've got them both open, leaking out into a pot underneath.
There's 4 bolts. Of course, they don't make them super easy to get at. You can see them there. Fighting with my flashlight again. Right here's one. And they're a little bit hard to get at. There's one right up there. Tucked in there. So anyway, 4 bolts should be all I need to get this guy off. And then they're all Allen keys after that. But we'll do that inside, tear it all apart. And look, this tall canister is actually a filter that I've had apart. And that's where we have found filings before. So since there was nothing wrong in the back, the only assumption left is that those filings are actually coming from the pump itself. Or, I guess they could be coming in, sorry. Go to the back again. I looked at the top components. Of course, there's a bucket of oil back here. It's potentially possible that there's some gear damage down in there. I don't know why there would be, but I mean, hypothetically, that is possible. But since I'm not having any problems with the PTO, that all works good. The only issues I'm having is with my 3-point linkage raising and lowering doesn't want to work. Then I have a hydraulic problem, so it's safe to assume that the filings also come from the hydraulic system. And you know, we may end up finding some damage in here. How easy it is to find parts for that thing, I don't know. That's always a challenge as well. So first step is pull it apart, determine what's wrong, and then we'll solve step 2 next. All right, determined I can't get those bolts out until I get those Allen keys off the top of that guy. We'll take it off, then I can get at the bolts underneath. I thought I would show you, this is the canister, that's the filter. See if I can get that out. That's the filter that was in there. And you can see again here, there is some, looks like some filings. See that on the top? The little parts of metal. It's got to be coming out of, oh, it's all covered in grease again. Sorry, guys. A little better. Anyway, it's got to be coming out of that pump. Oh, I forgot one important thing that you really do need when you're doing a job like this. It's a very patient wife. Okay, I'm working in the kitchen here again. That's why you need a patient wife. We've got this apart. This actually sits on top. This is the filter part that was up on top, and there's a round casing sits on this. And this piece bolts onto the top of this. Why it has to be that big, I don't know. This is that portion on there. Oh, that's why, I guess. Yeah. Anyway, so oil comes in here, runs through the filter, and then it goes into the pump here. And we've got this all apart. This goes into the gear, so it is geared. I thought it was off the crank on the front. And so we're going to clean it all up now. It's obviously covered in goop. And then we're going to take a good look at it. Probably pull it apart. There's Allen key bolts on either side. We got some on the back here to be done, and some on this side to be done. And that'll peel it apart. This part will come off, and then we have a center housing, and then there's just the back plate, and that'll get us in there. And it should be some lobes inside of here, rollers basically, that'll have a real tight tolerance, and as they turn, it will pump. That's what I'm expecting, is a lobe pump, but we'll see when we get it opened up. Almost looks like a completely different unit now that it's washed. And I've got the one back plate off already. Of course, I'm probably making a mess of oil. This is the one plate off, and bolts off. In order to do the other side, I gotta take the gear off first. So far, no problems. Good news, everything looks great. Bad news, we still don't know what our problem is then. So this is in fact a gear pump. And these gears tightly fit together. Not much clearance. And turning causes some suction and pressure ultimately. So I've pulled everything apart, cleaned every piece. Everything looks mint. There's nothing wrong here. Which means the mystery continues. Look at all those lights shining back there, eh? That means the mystery continues. I'm going to have to open up the rear, drain all the hydraulic oil out, and see what's going on. Maybe, see, because we found filings there, maybe they're coming from inside the rear in one of the gears, or something stripped up. Maybe there's some gears that have clogged the pipe a little bit, and so it can't suck. I really don't know, because everything is functioning like it should, in which case we should be pumping oil, but we're not. So off to the next thing. It'll be tomorrow though. It's getting dark now, so tomorrow I'll put this all back together now, and then tomorrow we'll have to pull apart the supply line, see if anything's plugged up in there, and then pull apart or just drain all the oil out. So I'll have to get a bucket,
drain it all out, run everything through a sieve, see what we find. Brand new day. Look at that. Isn't that picture perfect? It's like really foggy. The temperature dropped last night, minus 12, I think, minus 13. The fog's clearing up now, but it just gives it this unique, beautiful look. And also covers all the trees with this frostiness, which I believe we call hoarfrost, but I can't remember. Anyway, it looks lovely. It is a gorgeous morning. All right, so last night I did come back out here on this tractor and dump the oil. Went to town first and I got a sieve, and I think it would be called pantyhose, I guess. I'll show you in a minute. As soon as I zip up my coat, it is kind of chilly out here. Picked up this, which works great as a filter material. And we're gonna go look through that now, see what I got. Had a lot more oil than I figured on. Made a bit of a mess, but we'll see what I got for filings. I know some big thick chunks fell out. We opened it up down there, and I'll pull that whole plate off. This guy here, I'm gonna pull off today and have a peek in there. Whoops. Dropped you guys. Anyway, we'll take a look and also look through all this oil. So I was taking off this pipe and we filtered it, and then the other one I finally said, forget it, and just dumped it. So before we put it back in, I'll clean it all, filter it all. I think the oil's perfectly fine to use. And yeah, see what we can find in here. Got the bottom taken off. Don't see a lot other than a lot of gook. You can see here, this is all in the bottom of the pan, which is a mixture of filings. Nothing big, just all small stuff. See, it's starting to drip there. So it's just thick sludge. It's just fairly normal if it hasn't been opened in a long time. It'll just kind of collect there. And this is the bottom of that plate that I just took off. And so same thing, it's got this sludge. And it's mixed in with teeny tiny filings. Now, if this has never been opened, well, even if it has, some of that is fairly normal. It's the big chunks I would be more concerned about. And at this point I don't see any, and of course I'm going to wash it. That's the inside, all the gears. And I don't know if I can, have to be back there. I can't see, show you and look at the same time, but there should be a port there somewhere. And I can't quite see it. Anyway, because this hole is right here, and that's where it sucks from, which is right here. So anyway, we'll clean this all up, have a good look, put it back together. That's all we can do at the moment. Long story short, I've got everything back together. Didn't find anything other than, pretty sure this filter was put together wrong. There's a rubber seal that was on the bottom, should be on the top. I think that will make a difference as far as vacuum is concerned. And the other thing was that there was a little chunk of dirt in the valve body. And so that could have happened because this was in the wrong spot. If that wasn't sealing properly, maybe a little chunk made it through the pressure line into the valve body. And there's such tight clearances in there that it wouldn't make much, or wouldn't take much to stop it from working. So everything's clean, everything's brand new, everything's good. We're gonna put the oil back in. I am reusing the oil. Most of that is brand new, but there is stuff in it. So I don't know if I explained yesterday night why I use pantyhose. It's because it's got such fine holes. It makes for excellent filter. I've done this for milk and stuff as well before. Cheese. What else? Yeah, cheese curds. It works pretty good. Maybe it's not ideal, but it's cheap, readily available, works pretty good. So now I'm going to try pouring some oil back in here. It's going to take a long time to filter through. I'm going to clean up in the shop here a little bit while we're waiting for it to go. Got a long way to go. I got all that oil has to go in here. It's working, ladies and gentlemen. We got her fixed. I don't know what all the issues were, but certainly I guess this chunk that was in the valve body must have had a lot to do with it. Filtering out all the oil, cleaning all the parts, I'm sure helped. So I also fixed the starter right now.
There was a broken piece, so I melted some plastic on there to make that good again because it was cross-sparking. I still got to get a new alternator for here because it does not charge very well. We have cleaned all the terminals and stuff already, but we always still have to boost it. So, very good. This summer, hopefully we can do a little bit of an overhaul. It does have some oil blow by, which makes a big mess here. And it'd be nice to get that fixed up. Very good. Happy? Now you can go plowing again. Hope you guys all found that educational and enjoyed that little project. I'm glad we got it fixed. Sometimes it's just a minor little thing. It was a big job taking everything apart and cleaning it. But I don't mind that because it's educational for me at the same time, because now I know what it looks like. I know how to do it again. And oftentimes many pieces of equipment are designed similarly. So I may not work on the Shibaura again, but I may work on something else, and now I have in my brain a better understanding of how it works and what's inside of it, and that's important. So don't be afraid to try things, ask questions. You can always find everything online, pretty much. Not much for a Shibaura online, but a little bit. Yeah, just don't be afraid. You're smarter than you think you are, I think, most times. And in today's day and age, we have obviously a lot of opportunities. So as always, please like, share, and subscribe. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like the content, something's wrong with you. Maybe. But like it anyway. And subscribe. Lots of people ask how they can help. That is a big way that you can help us, is subscribing to the channel, but mainly sharing with everybody that you can think of. Many of you are in various different countries around the world, but also here in Russia. Share, 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 share. If you know people who can't find us on YouTube, we are also on RooTube. We are also on Telegram, Boosty. We're on VK now. We're all over the place. So you can find us here, there, everywhere. We'd love to grow our channel a little bigger and just grow to the community. So if you can help us in that way, that would be great. We also have some stuff for sale, a few things right now, and it's going to continue to grow. That's on our VK page, community page. You can find us there too. The descriptions are always down. No, the links are always down in the descriptions below the videos. So if you don't know where to find us, that's where. I'll say it again a little slower. The links are in the description below the video. Go check them out, and if you want to support us in that way, you can purchase things from our farm. Right now there's homemade stuff. Soon there will be vegetables and other things added to that list, and you can support us in that way. All right, God bless you. We'll catch you on another one.